welcome back to another episode of JV Starters. I'm Andy Vigu.
I'm Will Barrett.
I think you should do your proper title. Was it Will Barrett, National Lawyer Champion? What is this?
Um, well, in the realm of intercollegiate mock trial, it's all national attorney. Is the official
Yay!
title now. Thank you. Very
There you
excited.
go.
That's where I've been. If anyone's curious, that's why it's been over a month. I've been traveling all across the West Coast, competing in like actual tournaments that count on the national level. And ASU qualified 2 teams for the national championship in Cleveland here in a couple
Nice.
weeks. So 2 weekends from now, I will be competing for a national championship.
And how many teams make the national championships?
There's a total of 46.
40, and you got two of them.
I think that's high, actually. I'll get back to you on that.
That's pretty good.
That number's too high. I'll get back to you with the real one. But
Even better.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you just
something.
moved up in the percentages. Well, good. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot going on. Our last episode was right after the NFC Championship game, which was fantastic, and only to be topped by the greatest Super Bowl of all time. You know, it's funny. I had some people tell me. I mean, everything's been said by this point. Obviously, I'm just flexing and super proud. But it's funny that I had people immediately after the game messaging and texting me that like that's the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen. I'm like, are you kidding me? It was the greatest Super Bowl I've ever seen. And they're like, it was over by halftime. And it was funny. I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and look at this objectively. I'm going to step back. I'm going to try and see this from their point of, sorry, I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm too in. I'm too involved. I'm like, I hear you. I don't care. Greatest Super Bowl ever.
It's just different when you're the one winning. It can never
Oh.
be bad if you're the one winning.
But the funny thing
I
is
get it.
even when it was 27-0, I was still anxious because I saw 28-3, right? Like we've all
Yeah.
seen that. And if anyone's going to do it, I mean, why not be the two-time repeat champs 3 and 4 years? So when they went up 34-0, I finally really sighed. I was like, you know what? We have less than 2 quarters to go, 5 touchdowns. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
My sister texted and said, "This is the first time I can't remember the last time I was this relaxed watching an Eagles game." Well, yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I mean, that's the game to do it.
late in the NFC Championship, maybe, but otherwise, it seems. I mean, even the Rams almost pulled one off on us.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, they had a play
that
at
was
the
just
goal
a
line that could have beat us. So, oof. So, at any rate, very excited. I did watch the game from Chile. I'll tell you what, that's a different experience than watching the Super Bowl in the U.S.
that's so crazy.
I watched it with my daughter at the Hard Rock Cafe in Santiago, Chile. I
I
walk
mean,
in and they got screens all over it. I'm like, this is gonna be good, but there's music playing, live music. And I was like, they're not gonna do that all game, right? And like, no, 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 they're not gonna do it their game. I was like, okay, cool. And so as soon as a commercial break comes up, by the way, they have totally different commercials in South America. I
oh,
still
I can
haven't
imagine.
seen I still don't know what the Super Bowl commercials were. I haven't bothered looking them up yet. But so every commercial was for a soccer game or some other thing. They probably don't even charge that much money. But during commercials, the band was playing again, super loud. And I call the server over and I'm like, they're not going to do that at halftime, right? He goes, no, 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 they're not. I'm like, good. I want to see Kendrick. So anyhow,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's so cool.
yeah, I figure why not. All right. Well, we've got some fun stuff today.
Oh
You
yeah.
want to go? You want to take the first crack at it?
I mean, my first thing I was thinking of is a beautiful transition was just maybe a little bit more of a detailed look at the Super Bowl. I mean, that was kind of my
Go
big
ahead
thing
and
I was
hurt
coming
my
with.
feelings. You're not
I
going to upset me talking
I
about
have
that game.
I have nothing mean to say. I mean, I can say for sure that it did count against my growing reputation as being wrong because I did predict that the Eagles were going to win by more than 2 scores. That was my official prediction going in. And I was correct.
And 40-6 with 3 minutes to go. Let's face it, that's the real
Ridiculous.
score of that game.
Ridiculous. I mean, it was dominance. I mean, there was not a single point where I thought the Chiefs were winning the game. I mean, even like from like the eye test, like it was never happening. First half was dominant. Second half, obviously, you take your foot off the gas a little bit, but the fact that they kept scoring.
Yeah, but they didn't take the foot off the gas. They came out and everybody thought, okay, now we're going to run the ball. Bomb. Hit Devontae Smith on the fly. Oh, 34 nothing. I was like,
Crazy pass.
this is amazing.
Yeah, crazy pass.
Oh,
And it's funny. I was watching it with a bunch of non-Eagles fans, but what they all had in common is every single one of them was a Chiefs hater. So for all intents and purposes, I got about as close as I could get to watching it with a bunch of Eagles fans, and I was rooting for them too. So it was a good time. I enjoyed it, and I disagree with the bad game stuff because to me a bad game is one where yeah maybe it's not close, but it's also boring. And at no point during the Super Bowl was I like bored.
Yeah,
because it was offense, and it was either really good offense from the Eagles or really good defense from the Eagles. Like
it was
kind of
excellent
exciting.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, I've never seen Pat Mahomes so panicked. Like, I mean, he was shook. And so when he rolls out, first, oh, here we go. I know we're up 2 scores, but they're gonna nope. Then he throws it to Cooper DeJean, and then he never had time to breathe. And it was just one of the most beautiful things. And afterwards, watching all the analysis and breakdowns, have you seen some of the clips of Nolan Smith?
Yeah.
No, coming around on the pulling guard, and he just levels him.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, that guy's got 100 pounds on you, and you just stood him up.
It's crazy that half the Eagles defense is just the Georgia defense from 2020.
And they let some guys go in free agency, which is going to happen. I mean, they're expensive. There's no way we can keep them. And yet, went and picked up some more Georgia guys in free agency.
I am just thrilled beyond all knowing. I'm so thrilled that the Eagles did not get Myles Garrett. Made me so happy.
So there's a question that was a topic I had considered, but not to go deep into it. But was it always about the money with him, or did they just hit a price he couldn't say no to?
I don't really know. I mean, he's being disingenuous at some level or another because he said he wanted to go play for a contender and then accepted
And
the
he's locked
contract.
up to 2030 with the come on.
I mean, there's just no.
Yeah,
There's just no like.
You can't say both things. Now, if you just come out and say, you know what, I was serious about leaving, but we all have a price.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably what it is, right? I mean, it's probably they just offered him the biggest.
Well, they didn't give him like a little bit more than the last guy. They went $5 million over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the freaking Bengals were like, crap. They had to pay Jamar Chase even more.
So I've seen some theories that the reason the Browns did it was to spite the Bengals and make it so the Bengals had to spend more money. And their idea was the Browns were like, well, we're going to be bad anyway. Let's do whatever we can to make the Bengals bad with us. And I've seen that as like a genuine theory.
They've also screwed Dallas because Dallas takes forever to sign anybody, and Micah Parsons is going to get paid.
With me.
That's fine with me too. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Jerry Jones should not be running a football team. That dude is useless.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about the Super Bowl?
Halftime show was fun. I don't know. I thought it was like fine. I was kind of tuned out the whole time, but
I can't believe how many people tell me that the halftime show was the worst they've ever seen. I was like, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, people are crazy. People are crazy because everything has to be an overreaction now.
It's not the
either
best
the greatest
one.
or the worst.
It's not my favorite. I can name 5 or 6 that I like better, but I was very entertained. And not for nothing, you know me, I'm an old guy. I could not have named one Kendrick Lamar song prior to this. I recognized him. I knew who he was. I might even hear some music go, oh, I think that's Kendrick, right? That's as close as it gets. Now, I know a couple of his songs.
Yeah.
And I cannot get away from everybody doing their version of him walking around, that thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
I thought it was
another
good.
thing.
It was fun. I like
I thought it
Kendrick.
was great.
I thought the show was good.
And he
Solid
brings
like
out
6,
Venus
7 out of 10.
Williams just to
Yeah,
troll Drake,
yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
bringing out two of Drake's girlfriends.
Hey man, you do what you got to do.
Dude, I had to go down a rabbit hole to go understand the whole Drake beef after that. That was
Oh
I had
yeah, good luck
I
with
had
that one.
homework afterwards.
That one's deep. Good luck with that.
Say Drake. All right. With all of the offseason quarterback talk and quarterback movement, one of the popular takes is, hey, there's not very many good quarterbacks in the draft, which I disagree with. But at the same
Huh.
time, there's not a lot of people who think that, oh, we're going to rebuild our team. There's only, two, maybe three that people feel like they should take in the first round and can build around. And so everybody's talking about that. They're talking about Russell Wilson. They're talking about Aaron Rodgers, like Sam Darnold, all this talk. But I
Uh-huh.
think the most interesting offseason quarterback situation we're going to watch is the one in Miami. Tua
Interesting.
should, Tua should have retired 3 years ago when he had that traumatic brain injury on live television. You watch the fingers do the thing and go like, I mean, when that happened, I watched that live and I was at a medical meeting of sorts with a bunch of people who have knowledge on this stuff, and they watched that and were like, oh no, this guy might never be the same. And so after that, he was playing not too long afterwards, and you're like, bro, I mean, he already had the thing a few weeks before where he fell down and collapsed. He had the thing in college. And so then he beefed up in the offseason. He got strong, and they claimed that, well, now his neck's stronger. It won't happen again. Miami pays them all that money, resets the quarterback market, and instantly regrets it when he does it again, diving headfirst into DeMar Hamlin, of all people. And, I don't know why he's diving headfirst. He does it again. And all I could think was, they're really hoping he doesn't get medically cleared. Not because they want anything bad to happen to him, but because what do? Now you got to keep backing your guy. If you cut him, you still have to pay all the money. So I think that they do want what's best for him, disingenuously, because if they really did, they would cut him and say, look, we're just going to eat this, but we're not responsible anymore. So anyway, the reason why I think that's the most interesting is because, did you see who they picked up in free agency?
I did, but I forget who it was, but I did see the announcement.
Former number 2 overall pick, Zach Wilson.
That's right. It was Zach Wilson.
And I find that interesting because these guys were drafted high. They always get second and third and fourth chances, right? Everybody kind of goes, well, let's check out Jared Goff or Josh Rosen, whoever, right? They want to get in there and then give them another chance. And sometimes they're right? We watched Jared Goff trade places, and first I thought that'd be a disaster in Detroit. Turned out to be a great move. So, that tells me that they gave him like $10 million for Zach Wilson to come down. So that's not backup money. That's not starter money, but it ain't backup money. And they didn't bring in, normally in these situations where you're worried about your quarterback, you bring in an old head, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bring in, what's his name?
Like a Jacoby Brissett.
A Jacoby Brissett, or even older guys. I mean, you have Matt Ryan, who I think is now retired, but a guy like that, right, who would come in and you go, well, he's going to steady, he's going to be a 500 guy. Nope, they brought in Zach Wilson. And I will guarantee you, I'll go on the record as saying they're going to draft a quarterback probably rounds 3 through 5.
Who, though?
If he's around, I think they'll take Quinn Ewers.
Maybe.
So there's a couple other guys who fit that mold that are somewhere in that, that type of mold. He's not the guy exactly you're building around, but if you need him next year, you can put him in there. He's not going to be real expensive. You're getting him in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. He's not a 1st or 2nd round guy where everybody goes, now you're, it's a threat to Tua. So that's kind of my prediction, and that's why I think that's the most interesting quarterback story in the offseason.
Interesting. That's I'll be honest, I don't think I had thought about Miami's quarterback situation at all. So
no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
I've checked out all the national guys. Nobody talks about it. They're all hung up on whether or not old man Aaron Rodgers is going to keep playing and which team is tying their playoff hopes to whether or not a 40-year-old is going to come play for him.
Yeah.
Him and Russell Wilson. And anyhow.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good take. I think that's like a good find almost. I genuinely had not. I don't think it even crossed my mind.
I think
And
it's going to start percolating or showing up when people say when we get to like the preseason games, and all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh crap, can that guy play?"
yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting pickup too with sort of the public narrative around Zach Wilson. Like everybody thinks this dude is just buns, right?
Hmm.
Like, and so it's, you see the announcement where he gets signed and, all the comments are just making fun of him and stuff. So you got to wonder if there's the Dolphins feel like their quarterback staff can bring out the number two intangibles, if you will. So it'll be interesting to see.
It's funny. I just saw a little video the other day that said Zach Purdy saved a horrific quarterback draft class, and it went through all the guys in there, and among
It was
them was
bad.
yeah, yeah, you had Justin Fields and Zach Wilson and that guy, the Taylor guy that Miami drafted, that they got to throw out there last year, and he was buns.
Oh, Skylar Thompson?
Or maybe it was him, Skylar Thompson. Hey, I guess it was
Yeah.
him. It was not worth
That was
remembering.
that was
And
Trevor
Brock
Lawrence's
Purdy,
class, right?
Mr. Irrelevant, huh?
That was Trevor Lawrence's class, right? But did he go number
Well,
one?
maybe it was Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence and
Because then
Zach
Zach
Wilson. Is
Wilson
that
went
it?
too. I
Yeah, I
think
think that
so.
was it. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
right.
not looking great for that class.
Nope. Nope.
Which is funny because
Trevor Lawrence is going to be around. He's going to play. He's not been amazing, but Brock Purdy's been the best one. That's hilarious.
I think it's funny because that came right after the Hurts, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow class, which is like generational.
Yeah, this turned out to be
Oh,
a real good one.
And Tua is in that
And
class.
Tua's in there.
Yeah, that's a crazy quarterback class. Anyway, yeah,
All right.
good take about Miami.
Thank you. What do you have?
Well, it's my favorite month of the year outside of December.
Ah,
It is March. And as everybody knows, that means it's madness. The game started today. I had it up on the TV in grid formation the whole day.
nice.
There was 4 up at all times, and I was in and out of the apartment, but I left it on. Little brief sort of first day breakdown, some of my thoughts and stuff. First, I'll preface everything by I have U of A winning it all on my bracket. And no, I'm not a delusional fan. I genuinely think they're the greatest college basketball team of all time. I think if you put this U of A team in the NBA right now, they're the number 1 seed in the West. So,
Wow.
yeah,
You
I'm
sure
not
you're not
delusional,
delusional?
guys. I'm not delusional, guys. I promise. Some good games. McNeese State got their first ever NCAA tournament win today.
They were up 22 points at one point.
Yep, that was a great game.
Clemson nearly
Um,
made the comeback.
Yeah, true. Drake beat Missouri, which is a matchup I anticipated. I highlight that I anticipated that because for my bracket, the rest of the day was quite bad. Creighton beat Louisville in pretty convincing fashion. That was a really good game. I thought Louisville would win. But kind of what I noticed is a lot of kind of boring games. Like not a lot of March excitement today. Like I didn't really get a lot of like like this is March. This is like college basketball. That sort of like visceral feeling you get. Like the closest game to that was the Arkansas
Arkansas
Kansas
beating
game.
Kansas. That upset? Yeah.
And the game was close-ish, but at the same time, it was like once we hit a minute, it was just fouling and free throws. Like it wasn't that excitement. And I'm hoping that day 2 can bring some more fireworks because that's why we all love March, right?
Well, as we speak, Michigan is only up 3 points on 12 seed UC San Diego
It's pretty awesome.
at
UCSD
the
is
begin-
dangerous.
with 3/4 of the second half to go.
Wow.
And Texas Tech is only up 38-34 at halftime against UNC Wilmington.
Wow.
So,
Okay, so I guess
yeah.
the March
Could have
The
another
March-
Big 12 team go down today. Yep.
basketball deities heard me. Now they're striking down. Yeah.
Could be a couple good
Um,
ones.
I,
Yeah,
I
there's.
was so happy that Kansas lost.
I watched the BYU game and the Tennessee games as a Tennessee fan and as a partial BYU fan. And Boy, I tell you, they look good. They look real good. But did you
Tennessee looks
notice? Did
great.
you see at one time Gonzaga was leading Georgia 23-3,
I did see that.
and they
That's
kind of
nuts.
maintained that. After that, Georgia kept pace the rest of the first half, but the damage was done. They were down 21 at half. So,
Yeah.
um, that it was just 23-3, and Clemson only scored 13 points in the first half. Was getting their butt whooped. By
Yeah,
McNeese State.
Clemson
So
Clemson and Georgia look terrible. I
when
mean,
I
Georgia
I
looked
filled
like
out
a
a bracket for the
JV
first time
team.
in years, because I never do what I'm doing. So
Uh-huh.
I filled out the bracket, and I looked at that McNeese State Clemson, and I thought, should I pick that? Maybe that'd be my 12 seed that upset, right? There's always a 12 seed that wins. And I went, and then I thought, oh nah, Clemson with that white kid, they beat us in the Sweet 16 last year,
That was so
and
painful.
they did not show up. McNeese State beat them. Jeez.
Actually, I mean, you know what? I mean, I can just yeah, I know I totally. But I'm happy Clemson lost, happy Kansas lost. I love when teams that U of A doesn't like lose.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got my next topic here. Wait, what are we rocking? What are we putting on? Ah, there we go. All right, I don't know if that was allowed on
I
campus.
forgot to throw it on at the beginning. That's my bad. All right, continue. Your next topic.
Yeah, my next topic is that there's going to be two NFC West teams in the playoffs next year
NFC West, which is the
because these are
Niners,
the
Rams,
two teams that
Seahawks.
probably won the free agency offseason
What, Seattle and LA?
in LA. I think it's going to be those two. I thought the trade that they made for the quarterback trade was fantastic for both teams. That gave the guy who I felt was the best offseason coaching hire. He got his guy with Geno Smith again. He then signed Tyler Lockett, so he's putting the band back together down there. But I think they're going to be a solid team and have a really good defense. They just maxed out Max Crosby, but then with Seattle signing Sam Darnold, they went and
Uh-huh.
got a guy who's shown he can be good. We'll see if he can be as good there when he's not throwing to Justin Jefferson and Addison.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, they just picked up Cooper Cup, so he's got some speedsters. He's got some guys you can throw to. They've got some more than effective running backs up there with Charbonnet and Walker.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's going to be a solid team. But LA was really good last year. They added some offensive firepower with the best free agent signing of a guy who changed teams, we'll say, in Devonte Adams.
I agree.
So obviously that doesn't happen in a vacuum. You can't have two guys go from the West without that affecting somebody else. So who's not going to go? And my take on this is the NFC South is, in your words, buns. So they're going to get
True.
one team. They're going to get one
True.
team in, and it's
You know
going to
who
be
it's
the
going to be?
Falcons.
No, no,
Yeah, it
no,
will.
no.
It's not going to be
Who
the
dat?
Bucks. It
Who
ain't going to
dat?
be the Saints.
Who dat?
Come on. Look, I like their coaching hire, but I liked him better as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But so I think that the other three divisions are all going to have two teams. So it's going to be the Eagles in Washington. It's going to be Detroit, and boy, I'm having a hard time deciding who is going to go. But
It's going to be
maybe
Chicago.
it won't be
Pencil it
Detroit.
in.
Maybe it'll be. I mean, they have four good teams in there, right? I mean, in Chicago, as much as I've talked bad about Caleb Williams, they're gonna we're gonna see we're gonna find out who Caleb Williams is this year.
The
They
Bears had
signed
a
Joe Tooney.
perfect off season so far for
They've had
Caleb.
an excellent. I mean, it's tough to say who won free agency when they did so well. Denver, L.A. These guys all
Yeah.
did well.
Yeah.
But this is where we're going to find out if I was right about Caleb Williams. No excuses. No excuses this year.
It'll be exciting. Hopefully he does well. Hopefully I'm right about Caleb Williams.
You know what? I wouldn't mind being wrong on that one. Like I'm not rooting for somebody to do poorly. I am
Right.
rooting for me to be right, but I'm not rooting against
Right.
him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the NFL would just be more fun if the Bears were good. You know what I mean? Like it'd
Why
just be a
not?
different.
It's been
different
a long
environment.
time.
Yeah. The
I mean,
double doink.
Oh, you know who else was in that draft class? Mitch
Who?
Trubisky.
Oh, he was.
He was.
What? No, 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 not the uh,
The
Justin
Brock
Fields
Purdy
one.
one?
No, no, because Mitch Trubisky played on the Bears in 2018. Because he was the quarterback when they went to the playoffs and got double doinked against Philly.
I thought that was the same year as Zach Wilson and them. No?
Wilson and Fields were 2019. Uh,
Well, close enough.
he was drafted in 2020. Yeah, 2021 was Fields and Wilson
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, that's Brock Purdy then. Yeah, that's the same one.
and Trey Lance.
Oh, Trey Lance. Yeah, they drafted Trey Lance and Brock Purdy in the same one, and Mr. Irrelevant made it.
Yep, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I hope Caleb does well. I hope the Bears are good. Just be so much more fun for everybody involved.
Why not? All right.
But I agree with the NFC South take. I do agree.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, why not? I wouldn't be mad if Kellen Williams did well down there and put together a good squad.
I hope so.
All right. You got a game? What do you got?
Not really. I've just sort of been my idea was come in and rack my brain about everything I could have missed, which was a lot,
A lot.
admittedly. Um, I guess staying in the NFL vein, the one thing I was kind of curious about your thoughts on, you mentioned it, but you said you disagree with the notion that this draft has bad quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and I'm curious why it is you think that.
Well, it's funny. The ones at the very top end ones I don't like. It's the more middle grade ones that I think you're gonna have a couple guys come out of here that they may not be. I mean, maybe you don't build your organization around them, but I got to pull these guys up here. Um, Hang on, I wasn't ready for this. 2020
I got him.
NFL draft quarterbacks. Okay. All right, here we go. This will work. Here are the top 10 ranked. This is what some New Orleans Saints website is given
Ho
the top 10
ho!
ranking here. Let's
Who
see what
dat?
this says. Who dat? All right, they got Shador at the top. I am so optimistic that the Giants take him because I don't think it's going to work out. Cam Ward, maybe he'll be fine, maybe he won't. I don't know. I mean, the guy like he had a good year, but he's kind of bounced around. We'll see. I mean, people are big, high on Jackson Dart now.
I think he's going to be the best.
I think Jalen Milrow is going to be better than people think, and I think he's going to
No,
be. I think he's going to be a bargain. I think someone's going to pick him up late, and he's going to be one of those guys who's better than you think. You're not building your team around him, but I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to wash out. Uh,
maybe.
people, I don't know about this. People get real hot on the Syracuse quarterback, Kyle McCord. I don't know. And but the other one that everybody fell in love with after the combine was is it Tyler Show? Is that how you say his name from Louisville?
Um,
I think Quinn Ewers is going to be a steal. I think he is going to benefit the most. Him, Will Howard, these guys are going to benefit from, and even Dylan Gabriel. These guys are going to get picked up late, and somebody is going to get a real find here. They got the Indiana guy on here too. I don't know anything about him, so I can't talk. I know he did well, but he's had knee issues. So I think that these guys are going to be the ones who benefit from being having the draft stock drop and having a chance to be picked up by actual good teams. So I think that benefits you. One of the problems with the way the draft works is people get so worked up. I got to have the right quarterback. Oh, we got to have the right. They go and they pick up a Mitch Trubisky and roll the dice on him or Daniel Jones or somebody early, and
right.
it was no good. Meanwhile, the Eagles go and pick up Jalen Hurts in the second round. Dak Prescott was a fourth rounder. Like these guys are very good quarterbacks.
Right.
Sometimes a better team who has an offensive line, they pick up this guy, and that's where I think like a Quinn Ewers. Maybe he ends up just being a journeyman, but I think he's going to be around for 10 plus years in the league. So that's why I put him down as a guy that like Miami, who actually has a lot of offensive talent. We'll see if they can keep Tyreek Hill, but I think these guys are going to benefit from that. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be some amazing thing, but I think they're overlooking a few of these guys that are going to fall down there, Dylan Gabriel, and you're going to go, oh yeah, that guy was really good. Why didn't we think he'd be any good?
Cool.
So
Yeah, I think that's accurate in some sense. Um, I definitely think Dart probably is going to be the best. Funnily enough, I actually think Quinn Ewers is the worst quarterback available.
really,
Yeah,
he
I think Quinn
he
Ewers is
has his
so
issues,
terrible.
but the fact, you know what? Not for nothing, they kept playing him over over Manning.
Mistake.
And maybe it was, but I put a lot of weight in Sark. I think Sark's a good coach and he's a good evaluator of talent. And for
That's
whatever
fair.
reason, he put him out there, and they're going to the playoffs and everything else. So he did well enough. I mean, they did well enough to beat ASU in that game. That I mean, that was such a good game. I mean, just a tough back and forth, and then of
That
course
one
they got their
hurts.
brains beaten.
That one
So
hurts.
yeah, yeah, it was actually really good. I mean, Scadaboo, and I think Scadaboo, he's the guy. If he gets picked up by the right team, he could be a lot of fun to watch in the NFL.
He's got to come to New Orleans, man. Got to come to a real team like the Saints.
As long as somebody can open a hole for him, that guy he can knock over whoever comes through it.
It's true. He's like a little bowling ball.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's got those quads. All right. Well, if you don't have a game, I do.
Let's
I've got
do
a
it.
game for you.
Let's do
So
it.
this is a game that's called "Which One Is Not Real."
Oh, I love these kind of games.
All right. So I'm going to give you three things, and you're going to tell me which of them is not the real thing.
Okay.
So, which of these was not an actual NFL player?
Okay.
Okay. Deacon Jones, Priest Holmes, Elder Young, or Beanie Bishop?
Elder Young. Lock it in.
Well done. All right.
Yes. It's because I know
Which
the
one-
other three. I know ball.
You know Beanie Bishop Jr.? All right. Which was not a minor league baseball team? The Carolina Disco Turkeys, the, the Burlington Sock Puppets, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, or the Scranton Dunderheads?
Okay. So I know the Trash Pandas are correct. I know that is a team. I'm a little. Can you tell me the first two again?
The, the Carolina Disco Turkeys
That's real.
and the Burlington Sock Puppets.
It's that one. It's the sock puppets.
That would be incorrect.
Ah,
That is
rats.
a real team. The Scranton Dunderheads is not a real team.
I thought that was too ridiculous to be fake. I thought because obviously that one's the craziest.
I banked on that.
That's so ridiculous. Okay.
A couple of the honorable mentions were the Florence Yalls, the Hartford Yard Goats, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, the Gastonia Honey Hunters, which they have a honey badger as their mascot, the Amarillo Sod Poodles, and there's a what's the river, the Mud Rats. I can't. I have to look that one up. Yeah, so that was a good one. Yeah, the
Okay.
Burlington Sock Puppets is a real team.
Little reverse psychology on me. That's fine.
Yeah. All right. Which one is not a defunct NFL team? The New York Yankees, the Dayton Triangles, the Duluth Eskimos, or the Cleveland Yellows?
So we've got a baseball team, a shape, a color, and a group of indigenous people. Wow. I'm not gonna lie. This one's a 1-4 here. This one's a
You
shot
throwing
in the
darts?
dark. I think it is absolutely unbelievable and ridiculous that they would ever have a team called the Triangles. I'm gonna say it's that one.
That is a real team.
What?
You want to give it a second guess? I'll give you a second guess on this one.
I don't know. I'm eyeing the New York Yankees. I'm feeling like no, 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 no. Is it the yellow?
It is the Cleveland Yellows. It's not
Okay.
a real team. Yeah, there's a football team called the New York Yankees.
Yeah, that
And the
one.
Duluth Eskimos, of all things. What are they
I
doing in
felt that
Duluth?
one was probably the most real, mostly because Duluth, so it's like cold and north. I figured it was like that makes sense.
I love that you're like, there's not a shape.
There's no what is because what's the mascot? Just like a little pyramid?
It's a triangle,
PD the pyramid?
I guess.
Huh,
All
okay.
right. Last one. What was not an NBA team?
Oh, easy.
The Waterloo Hawks,
Oh, cry.
the Oakland Speed, the Pittsburgh Ironmen, or the Indianapolis Olympians?
Oh boy. Um,
Thought you were going to get an easy one.
yeah, I didn't think we were going. So I know that the Hawks or whatever the first one was, I know that one's correct because that's a throwback jersey on 2K.
Aha.
Um,
Gen Z
uh,
coming through.
what was the second one?
The Oakland Speed.
That one's also correct. So, I'm flipping the coin.
So between the Pittsburgh Ironmen and the
Flip a coin.
Indianapolis Olympians?
I'm gonna go with the Olympians, or no, what is it? I rolled tails. So the Iron Men.
The Pittsburgh Ironmen is a real team, or was.
Ah,
The Oakland Speed is one I made up.
oh, I thought that that's a well done. That one's very real sounding. I mean, I
Thank
brushed
you.
that one off immediately.
Well,
Impressive.
yeah. You got one of them right. So on your first guess. So good job.
I'll take it. 1 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah, you got the Cleveland Yellows on your second one. I'm like, he's going to easily get the Cleveland Yellows. The Yankees is too ridiculous. Cleveland Yellows, what, the Cleveland Browns? I'm like, that's what I figured. All right, I'll have fun with this one.
Oh, I didn't even make that connection. I didn't
That's
even.
why I chose it.
I didn't even. That didn't even occur to me.
Well, it's been a fun show. It's been fun getting back at it. I want to
Oh
leave
yeah.
you with one final thought.
All right.
I saw a post, and if possible, if I can find this post, I'll superimpose it on the screen so people can see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But it said that they used AI, I don't know if it's ChatGPT or some other version, they used AI to predict the next 75 NBA champions. Now, I didn't go through and specifically see which one, who had the most, but there was one in there that really caught my attention. Two things caught my attention. Number one, there was no 76ers at all.
I think that's
75 more
probably
years,
correct.
still none. And it might be right. But the one that really got me was it picked 6 times, including a back to back at least once. We're going to see the Seattle Supersonics win the NBA championship.
Huh. Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's great. All they need is a team.
I mean, it's funny you bring that up. And obviously AI can't always be correct, but if you take a look down here at my title, we've actually got the accurate prediction here.
The Blazers 2025 NBA champions.
Um, that is first of all, that is very funny that they have the Sixers not winning ever. I think that's
None.
hilarious.
0.
That's hilarious.
I'm looking through 75 years. They had the Cleveland Cavaliers up there several times. Like I didn't pay a ton of attention on everybody. It's just I was like I couldn't help but spot a couple of them, and I'm like, no Sixers. And why are the Supersonics up here? I mean, is AI telling us that someone's finally going to get back up there? They'll get a team. I don't
It's
know.
pretty likely. Adam Silver's talking expansion, so
You would think, but so far, nothing.
true.
So
That's a
all
fun
right,
thought,
well,
though.
yeah, I'll see if I can find that, and I'll put it up on the I'll superimpose that list so everybody can
Sounds
see
good.
how many times your team's going to win.
Sounds good.
All right. Well,
All right.
that's a wrap. Like and subscribe. Go Birds.
Take care. Don't go birds.
And Bear Down Wildcats.
Oh yeah, we winning tomorrow.
Tomorrow, baby.
We're winning
All right.
tomorrow. Take care.
See ya.